The Phillies are a game and a half out of first place. The Eagles are just 5 days away from kickoff, and Ben Simmons once out of Philly. We got a lot to go through. What is going on, everybody? We are back. It is great to be here with all of you. I know it's been a few weeks. We apologize for that, but we are back. We are good to go. We have the energy. We got everything that you need in a phenomenal, great talk show. We have a lot to go through as well today. I know I'm going to be saying that a lot because we are playing some catch up. But as always, joined alongside my co-host, Gavin Tony. Now, for those who may notice, yes, lighting's a little bit off today. I just had a light bulb die right before we started. Good luck for us. So I'll have that fixed. If that's why I kind of look orange a little bit, that's why. Also on some new laptop, which is kind of cool. Hopefully we have no technical difficulties. But yes, joined by Gavin Tony. The hair has grown back a little bit, so we cannot shame him anymore. He doesn't have that Braves hat on. He better not have that Braves hat on right now.
It's over there.
But Gavin, welcome back to the show, man. I know it's been a couple weeks, but I'm super pumped to be back. We have a lot going on. Just a lot has been going on all together. But we're making some time again. Tuesdays and Thursdays seem to be our day. Hopefully get some more in during the week. But Gavin, welcome back, and how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. It's good to be back to where it started, Zach. It's been a while, but just like we always say, it's not bad to have a break in between, Zach. We had a busy ending of the summer, whether it was seeing people getting ready for school, and I'm excited to be back, Zach. The hair is growing back a little bit. I have to admit, I do need to get another haircut, and I got to wear my cap. I missed the night, but other than that, Zach, I've been great. I'm happy to be back, Zach. The tacos we had the other day were fantastic. We must make a trip back. And yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You said just a busy ending to the summer, but there's a lot in sports to talk about, of course, in the golf world. A lot going on. Believe it or not, the next golf season starts in about 12 days. That's how quick of a turnaround it is. There is a break in December, but we have a lot of exciting things coming. The Ryder Cup is coming up here at the end of the month, which is when the United States has their top 12 players go up against the Europe's top 12 players. It's going to be very exciting to watch. Of course, number 1 in the world, Dustin Johnson. Number 2 in the world, Jon Rahm. Opposite sides. So that will balance out quite a lot. Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka on the same team. There's a lot to talk about with that. So we will dive into that later. But the first thing we got to talk about is the Philadelphia Phillies. And a lot has happened with them. I've said early in the year that before the season started, Gavin can vouch for me. We spoke about this tons of times on the show. I said before, I was very simple. There is no way in hell, I'm sorry for the language, but there's no way that the Philadelphia Phillies missed the playoffs. They had such a historically bad bullpen in 2020. There is no way on earth with that offense, with that manager, with that team, that they're going to miss the playoffs next year. There's just no way. The Mets were the favorite this year, Braves in second, Phillies were maybe talked about third and maybe fourth even. But the Phillies held on for a lot of the year, barely. They were never really out of it. They've never been 10 games plus back. They've been able to hang on. They've been in third place, fourth place, been up and down the whole poll. Of course, they were in first place at one point. We've been on since. We've covered that whole Mets situation in early August. So fast forward to late spring. Gavin, you were sitting here. You said the Phillies are a team to watch when it's early April. Everyone's excited to watch baseball. But then we get to the dog days, which we're pretty much in right now. We get to the days where people aren't really paying attention. We get to the late July, the August baseball. And the Phillies actually heated up during that time. The pitching was phenomenal, and the offense was quiet. And so in early August, they ended up taking first place by scoring no more than 3 runs in all of those games. I think 4 in one game. But the Phillies' offense was nowhere to be seen in that Mets series, and then the Dodgers series, and then the Red series, and then, of course, the Diamondback series. But then they go into San Diego and took 2 games, and then they swept out the Nationals. All of a sudden, we're back in the conversation. And now, as we sit today, the Philadelphia Phillies are a game and a half back. Let's recap since we've been on last. Gavin, we looked at the schedule, so I'm going to pull it up again. I'm sorry. I know I do this an awful lot, but this is serious stuff. All right, between the Phillies, I said the Phillies have a very easy schedule, and the Mets don't. And they had a tough game stretch where they played the Giants. I'm sorry, they went Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers. They won 2 games. They got demolished by the West. And now as we look at it today, the New York Mets are 4 games back in the division, 2.5 back of the Phillies. And again, like I said, 4 back total, and they sit right now at a flat 500. The Mets are still in the conversation because they play the Marlins right now, and they beat the Marlins. Unlike the Phillies, they beat up on the Marlins. But then they have the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Brewers, and then the Braves to end the season. I don't want to write them off yet, but the Mets are done. The Mets are definitely done. This has become, at most, a 2-team race. I have no confidence in the Philadelphia Phillies right now.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
I have no confidence in their ability to be consistent. Aaron Nola is on the mound tonight. We don't know what we're going to see. Zach Wheeler threw a gem yesterday after 2 struggling starts. Maybe they get hot now. September is the month to get hot. So I'll say this. Game and a half back in the division. Wiggle room is non-existent. It is now gone. And here's why. The Braves play 3 games against the Nationals now. And then they play the Marlins. And then they play the Rockies. And that takes us to Friday, September 17th. Those are all easily winnable series for them. The Phillies still have 2 games against the Brewers. And then they go Rockies, Cubs, Mets, Orioles, Pirates. All right. And during that Pirates series, here's what I'm going to say. It's a waiting game. If I pull up the schedule, the Braves on Friday, September 17th, play the Giants. 3 games in San Diego, and then 4 games in Arizona. The Phillies start a series against the Mets that weekend as well. That will define the season right there. That will show you what this team is made of and where they'll end up. But then after that, during the Orioles and the Pirates series leading up to September 28th, 3-game series against the Braves, you take a look at what the Giants have during that stretch. They play the Diamondbacks in Arizona, and then they play the San Diego Padres, another good team. So the bottom line is the Phillies on September 28th, in 21 days from now, 3 weeks from today, they start their series in Atlanta against the Braves. The Phillies must be within 1 game if they want to win this division. So if you ask me today, do I think the Phillies are going to win the division? I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you in 21 days. I can tell you before that second-to-last series of the season between the Phillies and the Braves. It's lined up for a nice story. This team is frustrating at times, and I'll tell you why. Alec Boehm and Didi Gregorius. Those 2 and Aaron Nola, their regression is why this team is so bad this year. That's it. Bryce Harper's had a great year. Rhys Hoskins had a phenomenal year before he was shut down. Gene Segura's having a great year. JT's having an average year for JT. So, truth be told, I like the Phillies. I think that they're moving in the right direction. And I couldn't say that a few months ago. A few months ago, we were talking about trading and rebuilding again. But right now, they're a few pieces away. They need more consistency out of their guys. I'm not giving the Phillies a vote of confidence today. For the sake of argument, sure, why not? I'll still stand by my statement that the Phillies are going to make the playoffs just because we're so close at this point. Might as well keep it out there, right? But at the same time, there's not much I can say otherwise. My job today is to give you facts. I can't give an opinion. Eagles, I can give some opinions. I got some thoughts on them, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We're getting closer to football season. It's awesome. I'm excited for it. But Gavin, that was a lot for me to say. Take it away.
Well, first of all, Zach, you said in 21 days you can't tell where the Phillies are going to be. Zach, I can tell you, in 21 days the Phillies won't be in first place. The Mets won't be ahead. They'll be in second place, Zach. They'll be a team that's not going to the playoffs. And here's why. You talk about teams like the Diamondbacks. Let's go back. Let's go back in the summer. Let's go back to when the times were fun and everything was hot outside and we were traveling all over the place. The Phillies had a 3 or 4 game set, correct me if I'm wrong, versus the Diamondbacks, where they didn't win a game.
They got swept. They have 3 games.
They got swept. The Diamondbacks aren't the worst. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Diamondbacks are the worst team in the NL West, right? Or is that the Rockies? It's one of the two.
Let me check that real quick. I believe it is the Diamondbacks.
I think the Diamondbacks are worse. Well, anyway,
yes, it's Diamondbacks.
You couldn't beat them. But why yesterday you go against the first place Milwaukee Brewers and pound 6 home runs? You hang a 12 spot, and actually they don't have anything today. They don't have anything to show for it. Gene Segura with a grand slam. I think a couple others home runs. Brad Miller, and the crew. This is a shame because games like that you should be able to do versus teams like the Diamondbacks, the Marlins. It's crazy how you show up when against teams that we don't expect you to win. Zach, another problem too with the Phillies is you stop going to games. That's what it really is. That's what it really boils down to. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll be there Friday against the Rockies. I'll be there Friday.
You'll be there Friday versus the Rockies. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't been to a game at all this year, and that's kind of good because whenever I go, I don't have a clean track record. Zach, I think I'm 1 game above 500. Just one. Not good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I bring this point up is Zach went to every game versus that Mets series that put him in the first place. They won every game. Zach, they had a guy, Zach Wheeler, who pitched lights out Zach a complete game on Roy Halladay Day. Couldn't ask anything better than that. Now, where's Zach Wheeler now? It looks pretty average to me as of late. Got lit up a couple nights ago. Kyle Gibson got lit up. I want to say, what was that? Friday night, eight earned runs. I blame Joe Girardi for that one, for letting it get out of hand. So I'll blame that one. But what makes teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, well, not now the Yankees, but Dodgers and the Yankees and the Padres and all the top teams, they're able to beat up on the bad teams and still win against the good teams. The Phillies, we talk about, if you look at the payroll, Zach, they're one of the highest teams with the payroll. I mean, you got Harper, you got Romuto, you got a few others coming along pretty soon.
The fifth most expensive roster.
Fifth most expensive roster, and you can't beat up on bad teams. Marlins should not be beating you, but Zach, we know how that goes. They do. Teams like Washington, you don't struggle versus Washington no more, but I wouldn't be surprised the next time you face them, they get a game or two against you. You got,
I would say that those 6 or 5 games that the Phillies lost to the Marlins, or 7 actually, that they lost to the Marlins and the Diamondbacks, that's your season right there. If they don't make the playoffs, I'm looking right back at those 2 series. I'm looking at the inability to put away easy teams.
And then after this, Zach, it starts after on Wednesday. It starts. You got the Rockies for 4 games. You got the Cubs, who sold their whole entire roster.
You got to shut them down. You got to beat up on them early. Take them out of the game.
You have to beat up on them before your bullpen steps in. It's like, I don't know if I can use a bullpen as an excuse anymore. I really don't think
They're good. They've been good.
Good.
It's the offense that gets quiet, and the bullpen late has been subpar, but that's still expected. Bottom line is they scored 7 runs in 7 straight games. They got to continue to be that hot. And against Miami, they got shut down. But bottom line is this. I'll give my final thoughts on this. There's a lot of season left. Overwhelming a lot of season left.
I mean, Orioles. I mean,
Orioles, Pirates, Cubs, Rockies. It's there for the taking. We'll see how good the Phillies are at the end of this year. If they don't make the playoffs, we'll discuss strategy and going to the offseason. But baseball's a long season. There's a lot of baseball left. I'll leave it at that. Other than that, Yankees have been imploding tremendously. It's kind of sad, but only can last for so long. Other news around the MLB. Not too much. Walker Buehler continuing to show why he is the Cy Young winner. Zach Wheeler has really dissipated from that, unfortunately. But other than that, Red Sox continue to be hot. At least they've heated up again. The Mariners have continued to pull their strings. Unfortunately, it looks like they might not make the playoffs, though. And in the National League, Reds and even the St. Louis Cardinals all of a sudden are starting to get hot. But we'll actually see how that ends up. And then, of course, the NL West continues to show why they're the best division. That Giants-Dodgers series was phenomenal. Coming up after this, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They are back. They are ranked 26th in the power.
Rants. They're coming.
What could that mean moving forward?
Tuesday's Next Star Rants. They're coming. I can't wait. Let's go.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. Zach Star, Gavin Toney, 11:18 a.m. here on the East Coast. Gavin, football's back. Back and better than ever, possibly. 17 games after 3 preseason games. Mac Jones named the starter in New England. Cam Newton has been waived, cut, gone. Not even the backup. Washington and Denver, top 2 teams, I think, would be potentially looking at him. I think that, believe it or not, I think Cam Newton being cut was a blessing in disguise for Newton. And here's why. Bill Belichick had his heart set on Mac Jones starting.
Of course.
So Cam would be the backup. Instead, Belichick let him go and gave him a chance to sit out a few weeks while a few teams struggle with their quarterbacks, Washington and Denver possibly, and then he can get a chance to be signed as a starter. So I honestly think I wouldn't overlook it too much. I think the Cam Newton experiment was semi-successful in New England. The embodiment of the Cam Newton and Bill Belichick seemed to be an interesting mix. I know that people are sad with it and people have their opinions and whatnot, but they drafted Mac Jones to be their starter. I understand the decision. It's tough for Cam Newton to look at that. He didn't have a terrible year last year, early at least, But we'll see if another team wants to take a risk on him. I would, based on what I saw last year, potentially. If Teddy Bridgewater doesn't work out in Denver and Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't work out in Washington, they could be giving the call to Cam Newton. Ron Rivera, of course, there as well. So could be possible. Definitely, I think could be possible. Gavin, any thoughts on that before we get to the Eagles?
Yeah, Zach, when you look at Mac Jones' play style, it just resembles Tom Brady, a pocket passer. He's going to beat you with his arm accuracy. He can work on some things, but just the mobility. And the one thing I realized was when you watch Cam Newton, it didn't look right. The offense didn't look right. They tried to turn Cam into a pocket passing quarterback last year, even though he had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. But the wide receivers he had last year, I mean, Harry and that's the only person I know because James White. Outside of those two, there was nothing else. You could make an argument and say that Cam Newton deserved one more year, but Mac Jones is the clear better player. But Cam Newton does deserve a job. Washington, I think Washington is the place to go. You had one of your best career years, your MVP year, your Super Bowl year. You could have won. You died on a fumble, but you go back, Ron Rivera. You got a good offense around you and a stellar defense stack that we all know and come to not like, but you have to respect it. But I'm not surprised. Mac Jones seems like the New England fit. He looks like the Patriot way. And they're gonna win games. I don't know about Super Bowls, but they're definitely gonna win games up in New England.
Yeah, it's early still for a rookie quarterback. So not too much else to discuss on that end, but we will tie it over to the Eagles. Of course, on Thursday, we will go more into detail for pregame, just kind of updates and more. Of course, they play Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta this weekend. It's kind of crazy to believe that the Eagles season is already here. I mean, what do we expect? I don't know. I really don't know what to say. This is a really young team. And I'll say this. The Eagles will lead the league in one-score possession games that they lose because they are a young team, and a sign of a good team that is young is losing close games. I can see them going. I think right now they're going 6-11. If I can be completely honest with you, I think that they lose a lot of close games, like the Chargers last year, who ended up 7-9. So maybe they could do a little better. But I think you're going to see a lot of close, late, unfortunate turn of event things that the Eagles lose to. I like this team. And I think that as much as we criticized him in the offseason, and Gavin, I'm sorry, I know we have to discuss this, but Howard Roseman, I don't know if he's getting Howie back yet, but he's on paper has redeemed himself to an extent. They had a $33 million cap hit of dead weight with Carson Wentz when they traded him. They worked around that to get some young wide receivers who look pretty good. The O-line looks healthy. They have a really underrated defense, in my opinion. I mean, Steven Nelson, Darius Slay, Anthony Harris, Rodney McLeod. I mean, Kayvon Wallace can step in there. They got that one guy from Minnesota who's playing linebacker for them, and we know how good the front is. They very quietly put together a pretty decent team. I just think this year is not enough. I think Jalen Hurts could prove us all wrong and have a good year. I think he is the answer, but I haven't seen enough yet, so I can't make any bold claims. That's where I stand right now with the Eagles. I don't think they're a disaster or a poverty franchise at all. I think you could think of Houston or Detroit or even Denver, arguably, as poverty franchises right now. But right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are far from that. Jeffrey Lurie's done a good job turning this team around again, as he's done in the past. Gavin, even we talked about this before when we said that they're heading for disaster. History repeats itself, and the Eagles haven't had back-to-back bad seasons in a very long time. That's kind of where I have to leave it because that's honestly how it is, and it is being proven right again, at least on paper, and we're going to find out. I feel better about this team than I did a few months ago. We don't know who Nick Sirianni was. I like him at least right now. I've done my Eagles visor on to do an impression, but I promise I may have to do that at some point. Gavin's got the picture up. But I like the direction this team is moving in. There's a lot of loose ends, and we're going to figure out for sure if they're moving in the right direction or not. But I like the Eagles better than I like the Jets. I like them better than I like the Broncos or the Texans or the Lions or any team that got a new head coach this year. I think that the Eagles are one of those teams moving in the right direction with a new head coach.
Well, see, Zach, this is where I disagree with you. It starts with this man right here, all right? It really does. You could argue, Zach. I mean, I can see the resemblance if you have your visor on just a little bit, maybe 10%. But anyway, it starts with him because, Zach, we don't know if he could really coach. Zach, it goes back to say your options on the table. Whereas Eric Bieniemy, who we know, yes, he works with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and how they're great together, but we did the stats, Zach. First, he's always top 5 in anything, passing, rushing. Top 5 offense. Zach, we did the stats last year. But it starts with this man, Nick Sirianni. It starts with how he coaches the game. Zach, I know it's the preseason. I know you don't see much, but I'm worried about this year. I'm only worried from a play calling standpoint. Now, what you see, what you're going to get. We know what Jalen Hurts brings to the table. We got to see glimpses of Devontae Smith. I'm not worried about Devontae Smith whatsoever. All right, I think he might be the reason that saves this team. I'm really excited. Zach, it may not sound like I am, but if you run the football with Miles Sanders and you maybe work a little read option there, you do quick passes and stop trying to go for the big plays, and Jalen Reagor actually uses his hands this year, we might be just all right. We might be just all right. And I'm going to come on the record and say this. Zach Ertz is going to be a top 5 tight end at the end of this year. Mark my damn words on that one. He's going to be a top 5 tight end at the end of this year because he cleared out the beef with the front office, so there's no problems there. He wants to be here. That was the question we were all asking last year. Does Zach Ertz wants to be here? No, we didn't know, but now he wants to be here. He's locked in, and finally, Zach, keep Jalen Hurts upright. Jalen Hurts has to work on a few things in the pass game, whether it's accuracy and stuff. But that gets better over the years go, or as the year goes. But just keep Jalen Hurts upright. We know he can run, but we got to pass the first phone of the year. But Zach, let's be honest. It just has to be. He has to stay upright. The offensive line has to stay healthy, and defensively, Fletcher Cox and the front had to be dominant. I actually like the secondary this year because the defensive coordinator was a secondary coach, so it all should be better. This is a sneaky good team, Zach. This is a team that when you look at them on paper and you say, maybe, but it's the competitive nature. Is how good they're going to be in games. I know the schedule's rough. You got Kansas City. You got the 49ers. You got the Saints, which we don't know how they're going to look with Jameis Winston. And you got a Dallas Cowboys team that's still trying to find their identity. Zach, I expect them to actually win 9 games this year. And depending on how the NFC goes, maybe it might be division. It might be the division. But it's only if health and how good this team looks and the schedule. We know there's going to be games they're losing. We know there's going to be games that they should win. But Sunday should tell us a lot about Nick Sirianni and how this year is going to go.
Yeah, no doubt. I think coaching, quarterback play are the 2 biggest factors. Everything else needs to fall into place. Though there are some assumptions. Like Jalen Hurts have a good year, but the defense will be terrible. There are assumptions that we can take that have to be true. So, with that being said, coming up on Thursday for us, we'll be, of course, talking about the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. What an interesting game that is going to be. Why Dallas on opening night? I don't know, but we can laugh about them on Friday.
Zach, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Trust me. We'll get into that Thursday. There's a reason why opening night.
Well, let's see. Well, with that being said, coming up after this, Ben Simmons. Oh, boy, we got some more issues here. I don't even know what to say at this point. Gavin, we'll cover it all in detail after this. Stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Network, and my goodness, what a disaster we have on our hands. Philadelphia 76ers, 1 seed last year, lost in the second round to the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. Best defender in the league, most versatile, unique player, yet doesn't shoot. And now officially wants out and wants to go to the West Coast. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Today came out that Ben Simmons feels that Doc Rivers, answering he was asked, can Ben Simmons be a point guard on a championship caliber team after Game 7? And Doc Rivers said, I don't know the answer right now. I said this before, unless you can get Damian Lillard or Steph Curry, which obviously the second one is not happening, you really don't trade Ben Simmons because then that hurts your title chances. But now he officially wants out. He apparently might not come to the camp. There were rumors speculating that Tyrese Maxey might be on the move too because of his agent, but then that was disputed and things like that. Bottom line is this was the closest team to a title in Philadelphia this year, and now everything's blowing up in our face, which is not what we want to see. It's unfortunate, but Gavin, I'll give it to you. Of course, Joel Embiid, dominant last year, but his dominance only lasts so long. The James Harden trade was out there for the taking. Philly didn't bite, but we don't know if Damian Lillard's going to be available. It doesn't look like my gut feeling is that he's not going to be available. I'm just trying to find sources on this. He's obviously in conversation every day. The man just got married, for God's sakes, actually. So, let him relax and enjoy that for a little bit. But on the Damian Lillard front, there's not much going on. There's not much talked about in a trade. I don't know where else you can send Ben Simmons where you're going to get the value back for how much you're losing.
Send him overseas. Send him to Shanghai Sharks. Okay, I'm done with the jokes. But listen, Zach, when you talk about Ben Simmons, you talk about a guy that has a package to be great. Defensively, 1 through 5. Offensively, playmaking wise, we know what he brings to the table. He can get an easy triple-double, but there's just one thing lacking of his game, and that's just being able to hit 15-footers, jump shots. Ladies and gentlemen, I stopped asking for threes a long time ago. I'm just asking for a mid-range, for crying out loud. And I knew Ben Simmons was broken when he passed the ball to Matisse Thybulle, and Matisse Thybulle got sandwiched in midair in the playoffs. How do you not score a single point? This is not the first time Ben Simmons has not scored a single point, whether it was in a quarter or in a game. Zach, go back to a couple years ago with Boston held Ben Simmons has 0 points in the whole game. Fast forward to this year where the Atlanta Hawks, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Ice Trader Gang and the crew held Ben Simmons 0 points in the fourth quarter when they needed him the most to step up and be a leader. He wasn't. Now, there's many ways you can look at it. Ben wants to go join LeBron James, but that's not happening. All right, that's not happening. Because Zach, if that happens, you know what's going to happen to me. If you think my criticism towards LeBron James is bad, just let him go there and see how it turns me up even more. But you don't get to choose where you want to go. Kawhi Leonard tried, didn't work. They sent him to a different country. Zach, I mean, Damian Lillard, time and time again, has said he's not leaving. Loyalty is a big thing to him, Zach. If you go through his career and through his life, he got hurt. I wouldn't say as a senior in high school, and a lot of teams backed their deals away. But one school stuck with him, and he went to that school and didn't transfer or do anything. So loyalty is big on Damian Lillard. The Sixers and Warriors. The trade talks has died down. So why not send him to Minnesota? Zach, it's far from LA. I mean, you get warm versus cold, so enjoy that. But the market's dead. There was a post that said they would like to see Ben Simmons and try to trade for Kyrie Irving. Zach, I don't want that. I love Kyrie, but I don't want that because it just causes problems. I don't know what you do from here, but the best I got is if you're Daryl Morey, you keep Tyrese Maxey here because he is the future at point guard. I don't care what Rich Paul has to say about it. And you go and you try to trade Ben Simmons to the Timberwolves or make a 3-team deal and see what you can get. I don't know. Bradley Beal, time and time again, so he doesn't want to leave. But, Zach, if he thinks he's going to win with Kyle Kuzma, I think I would leave too. But, I mean, what is there? What really is out there, Zach? There isn't. But the Sixers also have an opportunity where you could just hold the cards and say, look, dude, you signed the extension. You don't have to go anywhere.
I'd say the only thing that you can see now is De'Aaron Fox, and that's not enough. So
De'Aaron Fox is a late swiper, but swiper is not enough to win a championship. You're talking about,
and that's the problem. Like Ben Simmons is a very good defender. He adds a lot of value to a team, adds a lot of wins, honestly, but you just can't put it all together at once. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of how the cookie crumbled for the Sixers. We'll continue to monitor this situation. But with that being said, other news around the NBA, of course, the Lakers continuing to form a bunch of new veterans and depth. The Nets as well, 2 teams to watch next year. And the big news, of course, over the weekend, the PGA final round of the Tour Championship. Patrick Cantlay outlasting Jon Rahm to win the championship and the $15 million cash prize. Congratulations to Patrick Cantlay, a player that suffered both emotional and physical trauma over his early career. To overcome all of it and go on to win is a great accomplishment for him. For those who don't know his story, take some time to look it up. It's quite interesting and fascinating how he got to where he is now. As I mentioned, though, the PGA Tour pretty much starts up again in a few weeks, and the Ryder Cup comes up as well. We'll get predictions and picks as we do for everything, but that's a wrap on the season. It was a really fun year. It was an interesting year because it included 2 U.S. Opens and 2 Masters just because of how the calendar fell. So interesting year. I'm not going to say post-COVID, but post the shutdowns and post all the adjustments they have to make. They get to have they're going to have a normal NBA season. PGA Tour season this year, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's going to be fun, but nice little break now for the players. Nice little break for the fans as well. But I'm excited for it. It's going to be a really, really good season coming up, but a couple weeks here to break it. But other than that, around the rest of the sports league, I saw the Flyers made some moves, continuing to put some extensions out there. But other than that, that's about all we have here in the sports world, at least at the moment. Jake Paul apparently retired from boxing. I saw that. I try not to look too much into it, but just something to keep track of. Gavin, anything else that you had to fill in on in the sports world?
I do. Salvador Perez, Zach, 41 home runs for the catcher for the Royals. Wow, who would have thought? Sports world, Penn State beats Wisconsin in an upset win. Georgia takes down number 3 Clemson.
Yep.
And
Alabama decimated the U.
And LSU. And LSU uses the UCLA. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm just going to end it there. And finally, Zach, I want to give a couple birthday shout-outs to. There's a couple of birthday shout-outs to people that helped us on the show and has been on the show. Number one, our good Zach, Jake Starr. Jake's birthday today, so happy birthday, Jake. Congratulations.
22.
22. Congratulations on the call at the Wisconsin. You did a fantastic job. I can't wait to hear more. And our good friend Matt that was in the comment section patrolling. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Make sure you go check out his Instagram page at Philly Communion. Check out ours at More Than Philly. Zach, I have nothing else. I'm going to sit here and go do some work, sadly. That's the worst part about this time of year is work.
Isn't that right? Well, just a few updates here. These are predictions, not the actual AP poll, but Georgia moving up to 2, Ohio State to 3, Oklahoma moving back to 4 from 2. Clemson only goes down to 5. Just some other ones here. Penn State up to 9 on this poll. We don't know if this is going to be accurate or not, but could be interesting. One last thing, and then we're gonna head out. Phenomenal game the other night. Notre Dame as well as the Seminoles. Heartbreaking at the end for the Seminoles, but great story there. We have a friend of the show who's probably not too happy Notre Dame won. We're going to have to reach out to him at some point and send our best wishes. But in all seriousness, it's great to be back. Thank you everybody for joining us today. We appreciate it. And stay tuned for updates on the Instagram as well as the Twitter for when we go live next. It's going to be Thursday. Just going to figure out what time and get everything all set in stone from there. Try to get some other recordings done to put out there, continue to provide content. It's been a minute since I've been behind the camera, so we're getting used to it again.
And new computer too. New computer for you too.
That's true. In all seriousness, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate all of you a lot. Have a great day and unite through sports.
Have a good one, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.